the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
I want to talk to you today about something, honestly, it's disturbing. And it's showing us just how far the plastic problem has gone. And it's not just straws in turtles' nose. You see that, the Great Pacific plastic patch is a disgrace. It's horrible. It's not plastic bottles washing up on beaches anymore. It's inside you. It's part of the food chain. Researchers now believe that common plastic additives are affecting the health of millions. You're wondering what's wrong with it? Doctors can't figure it out? Maybe this is it. We're talking about phthalates and all sorts of different tiny little chemicals and plastic chemicals that have leached their way into the water, into the soil, into the air, and ultimately then into your body. And they're in your food packaging. They're in the shampoo that you use, your laundry detergent. They're everywhere. And these little nanoplastics, these microplastics, scientists are finding them in human tissue, including the placenta. They're finding them in lungs. They're finding them in the heart. They're finding them in the brain. Let that sink in. They can affect everything from your hormones. They certainly disrupt your immune system. So here's what really got me. For the first time, microplastics have been found in the human brain. Your brain, the stuff that we thought it was just, environmental pollution, crossing the blood-brain barrier, and it's poisoning you. One meal, one drink, one breath at a time. I know it all sounds overwhelming. It sounds hard to believe, but I'm telling you, it's true. According to the studies, it's affecting brain tissue and hormones. One of my favorite guests, somebody who I always enjoy unpacking these types of issues with, is Dr. Sean O'Mara. He's a physician, an executive health physician in private practice in Minneapolis. Doctor, it's good to have you back. Good afternoon. I can't wait to get your take on this. We haven't talked microplastics yet, but I don't know what you're seeing, what you're reading, what you're learning, but give us your perspective.
Yeah, so a great topic again, just because the prevalence of plastics and microplastics in particular are just increasing, so our bodies are being exposed to it. So it's really pertinent for those that really want to try to head off this kind of a problem, because it's going to continue to accumulate. And we see these problems immediately, but what we're not seeing is the back end, right, Drew? So maybe 10, 20 years down the road, there are going to be far more threats that we're going to determine, but it's going to be too far for people to act. So I would tell everybody in the Relevant Radio audience to be as preventive-minded. There's no need to be apprehensive and create angst. But it's the same strategies that you and I have talked about for a couple of years now here with regard to health. Is you want to be as healthy as possible, because your body, believe it or not, is a super machine that is really designed to reduce all threats of toxins if we live as healthy as possible. So microplastics are just another flavor of those toxins. It's just another variety, and there'll be other ones merging down the road. But the healthier you are is step number one in preventing this particular threat of toxins and many others we're going to get into.
I don't know how you escape plastics, though. I mean, literally, it is in everything from single-use syringes that supposedly cut down on people's infection, right, to phones, to your keyboard, to your food, to the plastic covering on the food, to the bottle caps. I mean, we are surrounded by plastic with everything we breathe and touch and practically see. So is there something we can do? I mean, I don't know how you prevent it is kind of my question. Is there something we can eat? I mean, what role does the gut biome even affected by these microplastics in the digestive system?
Yeah, the gut microbiome is vulnerable, just like our bodies are vulnerable to these microplastics. But here's the good news. The microbiome also, the gut biome, is your first line of defense against these. So you can think of your microbiome in your gut as almost like a bulletproof vest, but you wear it on the inside. So the majority of these things are going to be coming in through ingestion. And so what if you lined your gut lining with a bulletproof vest to keep these from coming in? And that's the best analogy I can come up with, the role of the human microbiome. These organisms, they're our allies when we live correctly. They are our foe when we live incorrectly, because it's a composition of bacteria, fungi, yeast, viruses, phages, archaea, and all whole new forms of life that were yet to be discovered that make up this microbiome. And they influence what is allowed to come in our body and what is prevented from coming in our body. So if we have a diseased microbiome, our gut is porous. It means it has holes. And it's called leaky gut syndrome, leaky gut, where our guts are not as intact and things leak in like microplastics, like toxins, like inflammatory molecules that otherwise would be kept inside the lumen of our gut now get into our body and our bloodstream. So eating more healthy, living more healthy, adopting strategies that align with a more natural lifestyle helps to build up this collection of really healthy microbes inside of us to stop these from getting in. So that's the first thing. Yep. And the way to kind of think about this is what happened to me last week. I got my house flooded, $40,000 of damage because of my $200 sump pump, right? So if you can, if you don't increase your microbiome, it's like having a sump pump. It's broken, and you can't protect your house from this water coming in, from toxins, bad molecules. So ladies and gentlemen, get your sump pump fixed, maintained, and properly in order, because it pumps the water out so it doesn't get in your house. And that's how you should be thinking about your microbiome, the sump pump analogy. So invest in that thing. Don't allow it to fall apart so you don't have a flood of toxins and bad things coming into your body. And it starts with a healthy lifestyle, good fermented foods, kimchi, fermented sauerkraut, like good non-pasteurized German sauerkraut, European sauerkraut that has to be refrigerated, kvass, fermented carrots, these, and even fermented dairy like yogurt, kefir, and fermented cheeses, blue cheese, gorgonzola. All these help to strengthen our microbiome. They're traditional foods. And what hurts it? Processed foods, donuts, muffins, cookies, cakes, tortillas, bread. All these, help to contribute to bad microbes going down there causing problems. So you're right. The microbiome is huge. There's some other things too.
And doctor, let's grab a few quick calls for you if you'd like. I'm going to first start with Caesar in Richmond and move my way down. Caesar, good afternoon.
Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, just my comment was something my family and I recently got rid of all of our plastic cutting boards. We're cutting our food, our veggies, moved to kind of wood and bamboo, and just wanted a doctor comment. Many people are using that, and what are the alternatives? And I'll jump off the line and let anybody else comment on it. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. And doctor, you can follow up on what else we can do.
Yeah, so I agree with Caesar. I recommend to all my client patients working with me, and indeed in the O'Mara household, we've eliminated all our plastic cutting boards and have substituted in them natural wood surfaces that's been used traditionally for many, many years. There are some old studies showing that some pathogenic microbes can get in those, but in the long run, if you treat it well and you add a little bit, we add to our cutting boards from time to time, we clean it with a little probiotic apple cider vinegar, you can actually keep those very clean and a much safer practice using those in your household than using the plastic surfaces that really do introduce more of these microplastics in there. So between the two, by far, a natural surface is the way to be cutting on. So I agree with Caesar, using either a wood or a bamboo surface, much better than plastic cutting boards.
All right, our next call comes from Maria Lisa in Northville, New Jersey. Hi, Maria Lisa.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for taking my call. It's an honor.
Thank you.
My question is if you could expand a little further on the types of plastic. Is there particular colors and density and types that we should be concerned with a little more than others? Also, what about things like you said, the shampoo? You mentioned shampoo. How is that affecting us? And what about pool liners for the kids? Like it's summertime now. The kids are out in the pool. Should we be concerned of that as well? If you could expand. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, doctor, I'll let you take it away. I don't want people to be fearful, but it is kind of a reality. I mean, there's things we can do to prevent and maybe stay healthy, but go ahead.
Yeah, it really is a difference between the type of plastics and really what is used and the manufacturing process. So there's another aspect to these plastics that particularly comes to mind with vinyl pool linings, and that is VOCs, so volatile organic compounds. So these plastics, besides getting into your body and representing a physical threat, like an existence of substance getting in you, they off-gas other chemicals that are associated with them. And so you need to be vigilant, and again, not to introduce anxiety or angst in people unnecessarily, but bringing it to attention, these other products really are a great example of how there's other aspects to these plastics. So it's not just them getting inside of you, it's the off-gassing of these other compounds that come from that you're breathing in, and they get introduced in your lung, then introduced into your bloodstream, and then represent a threat inside your own physiology from that regard. Now, I don't think you got to jump into researching all the different type of plastics. I think the general approach is to try to limit as much as possible exposure, contact with, and proximity to plastics that are unnecessarily. Just start, integrating into your life, I should say, more use of more neutral compounds like glass bottles and glass plates and porcelain plates and even wooden plates instead of plastic cups. And a big one to be concerned about are these paper cups. You go and get a hot cup of coffee, it has a plastic lining, and the heat into that plastic lining allows that to get absorbed and introduce a lot more plastic into your body than one would drink it out of a cold beverage. So it's just spending a little time thinking about, but not getting anxious about it. I travel with a coffee mug, a ceramic coffee mug. Mm-hmm. When I go to a hotel, I got a Sean O'Mara coffee mug in my suitcase. When I get coffee anywhere, I got my mug, and rather than using a paper cup. So that's just a little tip. Try as much as possible, go to glass, ceramic, things that are a lot more neutral, and I think you'll get a better protection from that.
Sounds great. Hey, this episode of the Drew Mariani Show is on the Relevant Radio app. The Relevant Radio app is completely free, and it's updated daily with fresh articles, podcasts, and prayers. So don't delay. Download the app today. Thanks for listening.